In this Star Wars Jedi news update video, I will be sharing with you some very sad news. Respawn provided a studio update yesterday that confirmed a bunch of layoffs on the Jedi team and cancellation of 2 games. I will have all of the details in this video because it has caused a lot of confusion among fans. Before we do dive into all of today's news though, make sure you do subscribe to this channel so you won't miss any future news updates on Star Wars Jedi 3. So as we've known since 2023, the third and final game in the Star Wars Jedi trilogy, Cal Kestis' story, is in development. They quickly started work on it after the release of Jedi Survivor. They haven't really discussed the game other than its existence for the past couple of years, and that was to be expected. However, Respawn has suffered a lot of layoffs, predominantly on the Apex side of things, and then they were making a first-person Mandalorian game that unfortunately was cancelled around this time last year. A bunch of those developers did move on to Jedi Survivor and Apex, and then they also tried to make another game, but as of late last night, Respawn announced that 2 games have been cancelled, along with a bunch of layoffs affecting the Jedi 3 team. The statement they put out on social media was certainly worded to not give a full picture of what's actually happening. They didn't explicitly say there were layoffs, but what they did say is they would be making some targeted team adjustments across Apex Legends and Star Wars Jedi. A lot of people might not know what that means. That means they are laying people off. Now, IGN do specifically state that there were roughly around 100 individuals from Respawn affected, and these include a mix of developers, those in publishing and QA on Apex Legends, with smaller groups of individuals on the Jedi team, the ones making Jedi 3, and the 2 incubation projects which have been cancelled. Like I said, there was an incubation project trying to rise from the ashes of the Mandalorian game, which wasn't going to be a Star Wars game, but was going to use some of the learnings they had. Also, that game was going to be directed by one of the main producers of the original Star Wars Battlefront 2 and the first Force Unleashed game. But here we are, we don't have the Mandalorian game coming out this year. It was cancelled last year without us seeing anything from it. The other incubation game was a Titanfall extraction shooter, according to Bloomberg, and that was being led by Steve Fukuda, who directed Titanfall 1 and Titanfall 2, had big hands in the development of the original Call of Duty games that we all know and love. For me, that was the game I was most excited for out of any other game, honestly. It was in development for quite some time, but it was far away from releasing, and the talent that is working on that game are no longer at the studio, pretty much, and that game is over. To turn our attention back to Star Wars Jedi 3, Respawn do talk about the third Jedi game more in their statement, so they say, within the Star Wars universe, we are excited to keep building new stories, with the next chapter of the Star Wars Jedi series aiming to raise the bar again for storytelling and gameplay. Obviously very exciting to hear what raising the bar of storytelling and gameplay means, because Jedi Survivor was so good. However, we are now doing it with a lot less people, which is not good. Those people are critical to the development of this game. And if you haven't been keeping up with my videos on Jedi 3 over the past couple of years, you might not know that Stig Asmussen, the game director on Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, along with Aaron Contreras, who wrote the 2 games and such, are no longer at Respawn on this game. There are various other senior producers and leads on various other departments, and just several other people that were part of the game's design and gameplay have all left Respawn to seek other opportunities. They mostly all made a brand new studio called Giant Skull, whereas someone like Aaron, who helped write those 2 stories, is working on the Bit Reactor game, which is also being produced with Respawn, ironically enough. Hopefully this doesn't really impact Zero Company, which is coming from Bit Reactor, which literally just got announced and revealed a few days ago. But after Jedi 3, I think the Star Wars games we'll be getting from EA is going to be basically close to zero. One of the Jedi team developers, Ben, did take to LinkedIn to say, unfortunately, like so many others, I was let go from Respawn, and I am looking for a new position. It's been an incredible 4 years at the studio, and it's said to end like it did today, especially because I was getting to finally implement all the processes I fought for years to bake into our pipeline. Other developers who were also impacted from the Jedi team did take to social media, and Ben did say this is the worst day of his career. So now they've got to make Jedi 3 with even less people. Personally, I was looking forward to seeing it in 2026, potentially at the end of the year. That said, I get the sneaky feeling that it might be more of a 2027 game, with them having a lot less manpower available to them. That said, EA might just want to wipe their hands of Star Wars as quickly as possible and get it out as quickly as possible, which is also a bad thing. And the fact that people like Ben, who worked on the QA side of things, have been let go is crazy, considering what happened with Jedi Survivor. Now, we all know the PC version was largely busted in terms of performance, but the game had a bunch of bugs on the console side of things. For example, the bounty pugs and stuff like that, all that sort of things, like completely game-breaking bugs that had to be fixed post-launch. These are the sort of people you don't get rid of to avoid things like this not being found and making their way into the final release of the game. So yeah, it's just an all-round terrible situation. For me, Respawn have been my favourite developers for over a decade now. I actually started making videos on Respawn back in 2012 when they were formed. On the day they formed, I made a video because I was very excited to see what the amazing people that worked on Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2 could do, and they created Titanfall, which I covered extensively on my channel for years, through Titanfall 1, through Titanfall 2, and then, of course, with the Star Wars games. So, yeah, this is really bad. I've been able and lucky enough to meet many of the Respawn developers over the years with the Jedi games at the Jedi events, and yeah, it's a terrible day for those people and the industry, and of course everyone involved. Hopefully they do find work at other great studios that will take their talents, and I really hope this does not impact the third game so much either, but also it's going to affect the morale of the studio as a whole, you know, losing 100 plus people that worked with you on this game for a long time, especially people that have been there years. Yeah, it's not a good situation. We've only had bad news, basically, for the past few years in the games industry, and it's probably only going to get worse as time goes on and as GTA 6 comes out and takes over the entire industry. Luckily, we have something confirmed for next year in the form of Zero Company, but as for anything else after that, aside from Jedi 3, which isn't going to be cancelled, by the way, I don't know why people keep saying it's going to be cancelled. It's going to happen. It's too much of a burden on it. It's too ingrained with the fans. Like, it's not like a new game, a new IP, a new sub-series. It is the third and final story in a trilogy, so they've got to do it. It's just that whether it will live up to the expectations, that is another question. I would love to hear your thoughts on anything I've talked about in this video, so please do let me know down in the comment section below, and remember to drop a like to help support the channel, subscribe so you don't miss any future news updates on this game, and I shall see you in my next video. Goodbye.